Hey, World Entertainment and Spider-Man 4, which seems to either be in trouble or not, and has a script, doesn't have a finished script, has problems behind the scenes, doesn't have... It's everything you're hearing about, it just seems to be chaos. Well, they've now officially made their first major new casting announcement. And it's none other than Stranger Things star Sadie Sink. The question surrounding her casting, though, is who exactly is she playing, because there's rumours on who she may portray. And either one of them is weird and interesting. I can see it more leaning towards one than the other, but the one I think it would more likely be, this article kind of goes, well, how would that work? And we'll get into that moment. But let's have a look at this. So, a recent rumour claimed that Stranger Things star Sadie Sink might be in talks to play Jean Grey in Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot, and it looks like there was some truth to this report, although it seems she could be set to make her MCU debut as the mutant hero in a completely different movie. Deadline reports that Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures have made their first major casting decision for the fourth Spider-Man movie, and Sink will play a significant role. The trade notes that the prevailing theory is that she will play Jean, but they have also heard that she could appear as another beloved redhead Spider-Man character. The site is, of course, referring to Mary Jane Watson, but with Zendaya already playing a new take on MJ, how exactly would that work? Well, since Spider-Man 4 is expected to include at least some multiverse elements, Sink could play a variant of Mary Jane from another reality. Though the Dune Part 2 star is set to reprise her role for the fourth outing, Deadline also confirms that Holland's old classmates will have reduced roles, while newcomers are added to the ensemble, with Sink being the first major new role. Some pretty wild rumours relating to the film have been doing the rounds over the past couple of months, and if every report was to be believed, Tom Holland's next adventure as the iconic hero would see him join forces with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Wallcrawlers, Venom, Ghost Rider, Black Cat, Daredevil, and the Punisher to face off against Mephisto, Kingpin, Vulture, Null, and an army of symbionts. So this just kind of rambles on then about other rumours and blah 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 and all that type of crap. Now, the character I think it leans more into the possibility of her playing is MJ. Why? And as this says, how could that work when Zendaya is playing MJ? Because Zendaya's character is not Mary Jane Watson. And that's the thing. They called her MJ, and yet her name is Michelle something. Is it Michelle Jones? I think it's Michelle Jones. And people were like, Michelle Jones, why did you replace MJ with a new MJ? But the MJ doesn't stand for Mary Jane. So why couldn't you bring in the actual MJ and have her as Mary Jane Watson? The idea of bringing her in as Jean Grey doesn't really make sense to me, in the sense that she's far too young, in my opinion, for the role. You think Jean Grey would be a little older, but I'm not actually sure what age Sadie Sink is. She's only like 22, 21, 22 or something. So I think that's possibly a way bit too young to be that type of character. And here they are confirming that the likes of Zendaya and the guy who plays Ned and stuff will be smaller roles. And again, that makes sense with how the last film ended. Now, what they're saying about these rumours with all these characters, there is a suggestion. Now, if you watched Nerdrotic, you'd have heard him say this, that a guy he knows who works around these things, who gives him information that's all been verified so far, has pretty much confirmed to him that, Gary has said this, so it's not like I'm going to spoil it or anything. But I suppose bit of a spoiler if you don't want to know, but he has been told that Daredevil and Kingpin will be a part of Spider-Man. That's the only thing he's been told, though. He hasn't been told like, oh, all these other characters in, but he has specifically been told that Daredevil and Kingpin will be in. don't think he heard anything. Can't remember him saying anything about hearing about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But of course, their names have been attached to this thing since the last movie. But Daredevil, Kingpin are supposed to be in it. And apparently this show, Born Again, is meant to kind of set up their appearance in it. And of course, Kingpin in Born Again has already mentioned Spider-Man by saying the guy dressed like a spider, and now of course he's the mayor of New York. It would make sense that he would show up in the fourth Spider-Man. But the thing with the whole Sadie Sink, there two names have been put out, and it is of course, she's either playing Jean Grey or she's playing Mary Jane Watson. And the end of the day is there's no actual evidence that she could be either of these characters. She could be, for all we know, she could end up being Gwen Stacy. We just don't know. You know, at this stage, it's a rumor. They're running on the rumor of Jean Grey based on the idea that the previous rumor they heard was that she was in talks for the X-Men movie, not Spider-Man. And the question I actually have, especially if she ends up being a character directly linked to Spider-Man, such as Mary Jane Watson and stuff, if that's the case, then if she signs a contract, it would most likely have to be with Sony, not Disney. So that'll be quite telling as well, if we find that out. If we hear Disney, then yeah, there's a higher chance that she's actually playing Jean Grey. If we hear Sony, it's a good chance she's playing either Mary Jane Watson, maybe Gwen Stacy, or someone completely different. We just don't know. But she has officially been cast in Spider-Man 4. So we'll wait and see what news comes of who she's playing. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.